So as you can see, we got article from Geeks and Gamers pulled up, written by Marvin Montanaro. Starfleet Academy viewership collapses as Kurtzman Trek implodes across streaming and YouTube. And for the record, like I said, we got multiple things we pulled up here. We're gonna be talking about showing those off in a minute. The numbers are in, and they are brutal. Starfleet Academy viewership is collapsing in real time, and no amount of access media spin can paper over what is shaping up to be one of the most embarrassing failures in modern Star Trek history. After an aggressively promoted rollout on Paramount Plus, Alex Kurtzman's latest entry in the franchise has already lost momentum across streaming charts, and its free YouTube debut only made things worse. How does a free YouTube premiere make things worse? And I have no doubt of that, because I've been keeping an eye on this. This is bad. For a franchise once synonymous with cultural relevance and mass appeal, Starfleet Academy is now being outperformed by independent YouTube commentators and novelty live streams. And this is not hyperbole. This is data. A free YouTube premiere that no one watched. In an apparent attempt to juice interest, Paramount released the Starfleet Academy premiere episode for free on YouTube. The strategy backfired spectacularly. 4 days after release, the episode has just managed 159,000 views. Right now, it is at 175,000 views, 7K likes, and 22,000 dislikes. I thought they were appealing to the modern audience, whatever that is. That number would be underwhelming for a mid-tier creator. For a flagship Hollywood IP with decades of brand equity behind it, it's laughable. To put this into perspective, YouTube channels like The Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic routinely outperform that figure in a single day without the backing of a major studio, a billion-dollar corporation, or a built-in fan base cultivated by over 60 years. This wasn't a hidden upload. It was promoted, it was pushed, and it's still face-planted. If the on-demand numbers were bad, the live premiere was even worse. The official Starfleet Academy premiere maxed out at roughly 1,300 concurrent views. Shortly after, Nerdrotic went live with a streaming featuring, no joke, a stationary Spock action figure sitting on screen. That live stream tripled the audience of Paramount's official premiere. A plastic toy sitting still pulled 3 times the viewers of Kurtzman's supposedly next generation Star Trek. There's no charitable interpretation of that outcome, and there's not. Here's the problem here. I'm being honest. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I'm not the big fan. I've not watched any of the newer Star Trek stuff. I've watched the reboot movies that came out with Chris Pine as Kirk, and I liked the first one. I will admit, I did like the first one. But that was kind of when I wasn't a massive fan of Star Trek, and it wasn't really like that I hated Star Trek. It's just I didn't really watch it at the time. I preferred Star Wars and Marvel. But going back, I just love the next generation and the original Star Trek, dude. Those are so amazing. Star Trek is was one of the coolest IPs up until they bastardized it. And so them performing this bad is just an embarrassment. And the fact that when Nerdrotic did a kind of gag stream, this was a literally just for shits and giggles stream, and he pulled 3 times the live viewers than a multi-billion-dollar company. And all he had in that stream, for a majority of it, was a stationary Spock figure sitting down on the back of his chair. I mean, it's just embarrassment. It is so tragic, and everything I'm gonna be honest. I might watch the first episode of Star Trek, and I will talk about it if I do. Let me know in the comments if you guys actually want that. I will actually sit down. I will watch the first episode. let me correct myself. I will suffer through the first episode because I hate everything what they're doing with new Star Trek stuff. I hate it with a passion. Overall, this is not good. The YouTube numbers are ugly, but the Paramount Plus chart movement is even more damning because it shows the show didn't just cool off, it fell off a cliff almost immediately. According to Flix Patrol's daily Paramount Top 10 tracking, Starfleet Academy debuted at number 3 in the United States on January 16th. That sounded strong until you looked at what happened next. Within 24 hours, it slid to 6th on the 17th and stayed stuck at 6th until the 18th. Then, by the 19th, just 4 days after release, it had already fallen to number 10 in the US and dropped out of Paramount's charts globally. Ooh, I didn't know that. That's brutal. It wasn't just the US either. In the United Kingdom, the show followed the same downward arc, 3 to 5 to 10 in a short order. That is the opposite of what a healthy breakout premiere looks like. A real hit typically stabilizes near the top or climbs as word of mouth kicks in. Starfleet Academy didn't build momentum, it bled. And here's the kicker. Despite being a major Star Trek launch, it never even reached number 1 on Paramount Plus in the US during its opening window. For a franchise this big, that's the tell. The initial curiosity spike came, and then the audience evaporated. This failure lands squarely on the feet of Alex Kurtzman, whose era of Star Trek has been defined by divisive storytelling and an ever-widening gap between critical praise and audience engagement. For years, fans were told that the traditional metrics no longer mattered, that audience backlash was toxic, and that disengagement was imaginary. That critics knew better. But Starfleet Academy viewership exposes a lie. You cannot review bomb a YouTube live counter. You cannot brigade 159,000 views over 4 days. You cannot toxic fandom your way out into empty streams. At some point, the audience simply isn't showing up. This was supposed to be Star Trek's youth-skewing gateway, a fresh start, a new generation. Instead, it has become a case study of how far the brand has fallen under modern stewardship. When a franchise of this magnitude is losing to commentary channels, novelty streams, and plastic toys, the problem isn't marketing. It isn't algorithms. I can read, I swear. It isn't algorithms. It isn't hate. It's the product. And Starfleet Academy is now on track to be remembered not as the future of Star Trek, but as the moment Kurtzman finally collapsed under the weight of its own hubris. The final verdict. The numbers don't lie. 159,000 views in 4 days. Well, now 175,000 in like 5 days. For a free premiere. 1,300 live viewers at peak. Rapid drop off on Paramount charts, outperformed by independent YouTubers and gag streams. No spin, no excuses, no rewrites. This is what failure looks like. Measured, documented, and undeniable. That is completely true. And like when we looked over at this, the views are 175,000 over 5 days with 7K likes and 22,000 dislikes. That is brutal. And I'm just going to show you this. So here we got the premiere episode right here. 175,000 views with 7K likes. That is a terrible ratio. That is a horrible ratio for a billion-dollar company. And as you can see, going back to this, Nerdrotic's review of this is 345,000 views in 10 hours. And as I have it pulled up here, 29,000 likes. That's not a good, that's a really good ratio right there. For a 10-hour-old video, 29,000 likes, that's pretty good. And here we have Critical Drinkers, who is at 798,697 views, 72,000 likes, and 171 dislikes. He pretty much got over 10 times the amount of likes that the official Star Trek episode got. That is not good. All of this is laughable. Like I was saying, all this is really laughable. It's pathetic. It is this there's no excuse for this. There's no covering up. Kurtzman's Star Trek is a shit show. I mean, come on. The last Kurtzman Star Trek thing was literally abbreviated to STD, with a major arc being called The Burn. The joke wrote itself. The joke wrote itself. Who calls? Good Lord. Who the fuck calls their show STD and then has a major arc in the show called The Burn? That is embarrassing. And okay, so I have not watched Star Trek Discovery, but I did hear from multiple people, from Nerdrotic, from Drinker, and from people who had watched it, from friends who had watched it. Oh God, it just sounds so miserable. I mean, there's this arc where this one baby was born around dilithium, and he got bonded to it on a molecular level. And when he got emotional and cried because his mother, I believe, was killed, he destroyed all the dilithium in the freaking known universe and set everyone back years, like centuries. I believe like there was like no communication outside of the planets for 100 years, from what I believe. First of all, the problem with that was all the dilithium on the planet was perfectly fine, which makes no sense. Again, none of that shit made sense. And God, this looks so cringe, so laughable. I have no interest in this. This is horrible. Everything about this is just disastrous. And this is just proof that new modern audience Star Trek is dead in the water. This shit sank faster than the fucking Titanic did. This is just terrible. I mean, holy shit. I mean, 175,000 views. Yeah, now that's a lot of views to someone like me. 175,000 views. But if you put it into perspective, that is still really fucking bad. Especially for a multi-billion dollar corporation which had advertised the shit out of this show, making it to be like it's the next big thing. It was pandered to my generation, and even my generation completely rejects it. This is a disaster. It is a shit show, and I do mean that literally. It is a dog shit show. But this is laughable. There's no excuse for this. This show should be canceled, honestly. I don't even know if I have the stomach to watch it, but I will. If you guys want this in the comments below, Star Trek Starfleet Academy series premiere, season 1, episode 1, Kids These Days, full episode on Paramount Plus. It's an hour and 15 minutes, 175,000 views. Initially, that's, you look at that's an all right number. If you don't take into account that's a multi-billion-dollar business, 7,000 likes and 22,000 dislikes, that's a rough ratio. I mean, that's still brutal. And of course, the comments are just tearing into it. There are so many body positivity people that I'm amazed the ship even took off. Finally, the Federation's most pressing threat: microaggressions in 0G. She's dead, Jim. Star Trek, the Breakfast Club Academy. No joke, they literally had the Breakfast Club of students: the hoodlum, the jock, the nerd, the princess, and the weirdo. They even had the mean dean who went around yelling at all the students. That Klingon is a prince cosplay to boldly go where no audience will go. Holy shit! The audience is the comments are just brutal, tearing into it like it is just so brutal. I mean, but dude, this is sad. Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic both heavily outperformed. Ooh, it's not good. It's really not good. I mean, this is just disastrous. I'm gonna be surprised if they don't cancel it before season 3 comes out. I feel like they will, but this is just like there's no excuse for this. This is horrible. Like I said, if you guys want me to review the first episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, let me know in the comments below. Watch it, I will review it, and I will hate every second of it, but I'll do it for the content. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share on your preferred social media platform. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and God bless.